As a small creator finding your way around YouTube, you are bombarded with tips, strategies, and facts.
Don't post shorts. They're gonna hurt your channel. The trending section on YouTube is only for the elite. Tags are like the only way to get ranked, dude.
Now, many of these people would claim these are truths, but they are in fact myths. And what we're going to try and do today is debunk 13 of the biggest offending YouTube myths.
Before we do that though, let us know in the comments, what are some YouTube nonsense myths that you've often heard?
By the way, keep watching until the end because we may have a couple of extra myths that we're going to debunk. So let's kick this off with myth number 1. Longer videos lead to better YouTube rankings. Dan, discuss.
No, the truth is that a 1-minute video can be just as viral as a 20-minute video. The most important thing creators need to remember here is you get your point across regardless of how long you think your video should be.
What video length doesn't take into account is session watch time. For example, a viewer could watch a video that's only 2 or 3 minutes long, be really satisfied by it, and end up binge watching a lot more content from that single creator. So instead of watching one 12-minute video, they're watching 10 2-minute videos. And now you can appreciate how valuable that can be to the YouTube recommendation engine.
Honestly, the people who are telling you you need to make videos of a certain length are probably just thinking about videos that are longer can display more ads.
However, if you are making longer videos for the sake of it, either to get over 8 minutes, to put adverts on your videos, or because you think making longer videos, getting more watch time leads to more positive metrics, that could actually impact the satisfaction the viewer gets from your content. Take an example such as Beluga. Like, he's ballooned in size, over 10 million subscribers, millions of views every single video. That's likely because viewers are binge watching multiple videos on his channel in one session.
Myth number 2, you absolutely have to have text on your thumbnails.
Well, this is where we get to the conversation, Dan, of it depends what kind of videos you're making. For example, when you talk about vlogs, storytelling, they don't really need text. An engaging visual image can be more than enough.
The mission behind your thumbnail in most cases should be to convey some kind of story or emotion and draw in some kind of curiosity. One thing I like to tell new creators who are struggling is that your thumbnail could really be a visualization of your title. If you can keep people from having to read your title and just get the entire point of the video by looking at a simple thumbnail, you've just won the click.
However, let's think about educational and how-to content that tends to favor text on a thumbnail because it needs to instantly communicate a solution rather than creating mystery or intrigue. So in some cases, text can be really valuable, but Dan, what I think we'll both agree on is that there should be a text limit. Don't try and write sentences on your thumbnails. 2 or 3 words is a good standard. And while we're on the topic of text on thumbnails, Dan, apparently you have to have a beautiful face on your thumbnails as well.
This, again, kind of depends.
Oh, it always depends on YouTube.
Yes, it's our favorite thing to tell people. For example, in the gaming space, a lot of times the games you're playing on your channel have very recognizable features, characters, points of interest. And in a lot of cases, it might be better to lead with those rather than just a picture of you. Save the space on your thumbnail to make the most familiar looking thing the centerpiece of that thumbnail.
It is often about having something that's instantly recognizable to the viewer. So in some cases, if you're doing a news story about a popular sports star, say Shaq, or you're covering a YouTube creator, Graham Stephan, for example, you would want to have their face on the thumbnail. On top of this, if you are building your own brand and you're building a community where they become very familiar with you, then having your own face on the thumbnail might be ideal as well.
On this channel, we actually use our faces quite a bit in thumbnails, and oftentimes it depends on the point we're trying to convey. If we feel like a face is going to bring out a lot of emotion in that thumbnail, you may see it appear. Sometimes we try thumbnails where we have a version of it for one video that has our face and a version that doesn't.
Also, to try and create an associated mindset, you know, if you're fearful of something or surprised, there's a new YouTube feature and it looks awesome, we try and convey that perhaps in our thumbnail. But at the same time, we're going to use recognizable elements from YouTube, such as the real-time graph and the metrics panels, because we assume our viewers are going to associate with those YouTube elements.
Earlier in the video, I joked around about how tags are the only way to get ranked on YouTube. This is actually myth number 4.
The truth is, tags exist on YouTube. And that's pretty much it. If you're worried about the myth of YouTube tags, then you're worried about the wrong things. 99% of your optimization efforts and strategy should be guided towards the thumbnail and the title.
YouTube themselves has said multiple times now that the tags are a great place to include common misspellings for maybe the keywords that you're trying to rank for.
We've seen many examples on YouTube where larger creators now are just not even bothering with tags because they know their audience, they know they're going to turn up and watch their content. The smaller channels, education channels, they may still be using tags because it provides the creator with some education for themselves in terms of keyword research, and they're just including that keyword research in the video tags. But ultimately, you should be spending no more than 30 seconds inserting tags into your videos. You do that with the vidIQ boost tool, either through the recommended tags, or you could search for a video on YouTube and simply copy the tags from that video and place them straight into your video. But what about when it comes to the videos themselves, Dan? Because apparently there is a myth floating around that a bad performing video will completely cripple your channel.
That's something that a lot of people are actually very afraid of, but rest assured, again, YouTube coming to us with this information and saying, no, videos on YouTube are all treated individually. So having one video that completely flops does not necessarily mean your next video is going to be affected by that somehow.
Now, when you started your YouTube channel and journey, you were effectively experimenting all of the time to see what works. And ultimately, you should always be experimenting with your content to become a better creator. But you get to the point where you have an established audience and you want to treat them with respect in terms of the content that you make. But that should always give you the license to experiment every once in a while.
Absolutely, 100%. But a lot of creators make this mistake of experimenting a little too much. So just as a counterpoint, you don't want to be experimenting with random types of videos day in and day out. Every creator should really practice having some level of consistency in their content. Posting once a day consistency. I'm talking about the consistency of the topics that you cover on your channel. They should always appeal to the same audience because at the end of the day, you're here on our channel to get more subscribers. And if you want to build up those returning viewers, you're really going to have to make videos that they're going to want to keep coming back for.
Now, over time, if a pattern develops that the videos that you make are not appearing in a viewer's watch history anymore, then the YouTube recommendation system is maybe going to start to think that the viewer needs to be shown other videos to watch. So that could impact the distribution of your content. So you do need to be aware of that. Now, as an example of when we made content that we knew wasn't going to perform well, back in February, when the conflict in Ukraine began, it was a very personal and important thing that we wanted to talk about on vidIQ. We knew it wasn't YouTube education. We published those videos. As you can see here, they didn't get that many views. But once we returned to our regular programming, so to speak, YouTube education, the audience very quickly came back. So these two videos didn't severely impact the whole performance of the channel.
Myth number 6, you need expensive equipment like cameras and microphones and sweet gaming PCs if you ever want to rank on YouTube.
So there is a certain element of truth to this in the fact that if you have higher quality footage, higher quality audio, that is going to be more of a satisfying viewing experience for the audience. But that shouldn't be seen as a mandate for what you must improve indefinitely on your channel.
So would you say that in certain topics, maybe this is more important than others? For example, if you're a tech channel, I think I would expect somebody reviewing high-end tech products to have some high-end tech themselves, meaning I want to see nice, clean shots, minimalistic design in their offices, and I want some high-quality audio.
Yeah, it's similar with like a photography channel as well. You would expect the thumbnails to be of a very high standard. But let's switch this to a vlogging channel. They're likely filming in a very spontaneous way where they don't have time to think about shot composition, lighting, and perfect audio environments. You know, they're running and gunning. The story is what's important there, and the experience far more than any of the production values. It's a much more raw viewing experience, which the viewer likely appreciates.
One thing I'm always reminding creators of, just while we're on the subject, is that nobody knows that you have amazing production quality if you haven't yet won the click with a fantastic title and thumbnail. And the reason I bring up titles right now is because our next myth is actually that you have to clickbait people in order to get the click.
Clickbait. Hey, what a filthy word that is in the YouTube universe. The truth is, the concept of clickbait is misinterpreted. Your titles don't need to be clickbaity, but they do need to generate an element of curiosity.
I look at clickbait as kind of two different sides, right? You have good clickbait and you have bad clickbait. Now, bad clickbait is when you straight up lie to the viewer. You have a title and a thumbnail that don't deliver on the perceived value of your video. Good clickbait is when maybe you push the envelope just a little bit and you tease something. People still watch the video, but at the end, it was good clickbait because they ended up getting that value from the video by the time they finished. And maybe if you did something that upset them a little bit at the start, you're completely forgiven because, again, you've delivered on that value.
You also have to remember this about YouTube and being a creator. You have an artistic license in everything you do, be it the way you film, edit. That can extend to a certain extent to your title. And when we think about the types of titles, there are 7 different forms of curiosity that we've explored in the past. Challenging assumptions, being oddly specific, more on that later. But for now, Dan, the more subscribers, the better your videos rank on YouTube, right?
Absolutely not. There was a time where YouTube displayed subscribers more prominently across the website, but they've since learned that it's far more valuable to better understand an individual viewer's interests and not necessarily trust when